So next, what I have is I have religious books. What do I have? Religious books seized, and this I want to go into depth here. I have a lot of screenshots, and I thought it was really important to actually know what's going on. So, religious books seized and burned in China. This is an Epoch Times piece written by Jocelyn Neo. In communist China, practicing a certain faith, printing or even reading religious books could result in prison terms and abuse. Spiritual believers in China, be it Christians, Buddhists, Uyghur Muslims, or Falun Gong practitioners, are faced not only with brutal suppression or forced labor terms, but also have their religious books burned or trashed at the hands of the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. The coercive policies are aimed at forcing these religious followers to renounce their faith and follow the communist ideologies based on atheism and Marxism. I think this is very important as it relates to the United States of America, and I'm going to explain why. According to Bitter Winter, a magazine on religious liberty and human rights in China, a three-self-church venue is one of the villages under the jurisdiction of Lanling County was demolished in July 2020. So this is a church, a religious church that was demolished in July 2020 by the government. A county government official told the congregation that, and I quote, all churches to close to government institutions must too close to government institutions must be destroyed, and the same goes for, and I quote, those that look better than government buildings, end quote. So the government, the Chinese Communist Party, is destroying any religious buildings that are near government institutions or look better than government buildings. So belief in the Communist Party is the only religion allowed, and that's the most important part. And that is what we are currently not that we're currently going through in the United States, but we've seen just a loss of religious principles and values. We've seen a very far away disparity from it. We've really lost our way as it relates to religious liberty or just religion in general, and now politics is religion. Individuals are our gods. We look up to, whether it's celebrities or it's politicians, we look up to them for help, and we shouldn't. We should be looking to ourselves. We should be looking to God. We should be looking to even family members much more than we should be looking to the government to fix all of our problems. And the reason that the Chinese government gets away with this and why they go towards religious institutions is because they want full indoctrination into the state. They want full indoctrination into the government. And they know that religion gets in the way of that. So he continues on this, or she continues on this piece. She states, even the postal and courier services are being strictly monitored. In another recent report, a courier company's staff member from the city of Luoyang, Henan province, told Bitter Winter that the CCP exerted strict control over mailed goods in the year of 2020. Only the mailing of government-approved books is allowed. All books with bad information, including religion, are not allowed to be dispatched. If public security authorities discover violations of these regulations, the company will be fined and closed down. Man, so they're not allowing for religious literature to be disseminated or dispatched. They trash them, and then they're gonna give regulations coming down from the Chinese Communist Party if you are selling that information. It's like a prohibition on religion, essentially. Now, the magazine reported in 2019 that the communist regime is also attempting to sinicize the Bible by forcing clergymen to interpret the teaching based on the Marxist and socialist ideologies. So Bitter Winter's three-self preacher told Bitter Winter, and I quote, "This is a distortion of the Christian faith. It is the work of the devil. The situation is becoming increasingly dire. The government is increasingly pressuring step by step. In the end, they want to eliminate religious belief completely." And they're what they're doing is they're making people teach the Bible, but they're interpreting it in Marxist ways and socialist ideologies. This is something that Al Qaeda was doing. There's this thing, it's called, and I read this when I was in college because I studied extremism, extremist groups, 39 Ways to Serve Jihad. And what they did was they interpreted the Quran in ways in which it can it can benefit having this extremism or having this Al Qaeda group. What they did was they interpreted it as, okay, this is what they said, and this is what it means, and they interpret it meaning, oh, you need to serve jihad, you need to kill apostates, things of that nature. Now, apart from banning the spiritual publications, the Chinese authorities spare no efforts in confiscating religious books that aren't officially approved by the Chinese Communist Party. In March last year, the local authorities demolished a 3-self church in Jining City's Yatao County after deeming it an illegal construction. Officials stormed into our church before we even finished collecting our belongings, a congregation member told Bitter Winter. They tore up all Bibles and images of the Lord Jesus. Chen Yu, the owner of the Christian online bookstore in Taizhou City, Zhejiang Province, was sentenced to 7 years and fined $200,000 or 200,000. I guess it's called yen there, or yuan. It's approximate to 31,000 US dollars for selling unapproved religious publications imported from Taiwan, the United States, and other countries, according to the October 2020 report by International Christian Concern. The authorities also plan to destroy the 12,864 Christian books from his bookstore. So you're seeing a huge persecution of religious liberty. It's also related to, you have the Uyghurs, and then you have the Christians, and then apparently I was reading in the same exact article, Buddhism, which is actually supposed to be recognized nationally by the Chinese government. They're attacking Buddhists as well. So really, if you're a religious believer in anything, you are just not accepted by the Chinese government, because they know that they cannot indoctrinate you because you believe in a higher being, and you prioritize the higher being as well as your family above the Chinese Communist Party, which I think that was also another reason why they only were allowing for a very long time one person. I think it didn't actually have to do with, they only allowed you to have one child. I think it had actually nothing to do with population. I think it actually had more to do with being more indoctrinated into the government. If you have more kids, you prioritize and put your kids first in front of you more than the Chinese Communist Party and the government there.